I know you all have places to go, people to see, and we have lots of good stuff. Before we start, you have an announcement that somebody else.
Yes. Captain Scott is missing. His loved ones are passing out. Okay. Caston Scott is missing. His loved ones are passing out flyers. Just wanted to let you know we're going to put this flyer up in case you see him. Let his family know.
Well, first I want to thank all of you guys for coming, and I hope next time we get together you bring at least 2 or 5 or 100 of your best friends. What we want to do right now is introduce you to some of the people that have been working behind the scenes. Not all of them were able to be here tonight, but if you're one of the people, will you please just stand up so you can introduce yourself? You know who you are.
My name is Joe from Cameron Springs. I've been with Donna from the beginning, so I'd like to see some of the real important of taking this project to some kind of progress from our support. So sometimes, you know, we need a lot more support. We went through from door to door a week ago with Donna, and I'm hoping to continue this momentum. Thank you for your support.
My name is Dan DeVore, and I live in Lockwald subdivision, and I helped work on the rezoning back in 2019, and here I am again.
As we say, God love your little heart.
My name is Mike Summers, and I've kind of been working with the team on a little bit of the construction aspect as a contractor myself, as it relates to how some of the effects of this neighborhood are really going to be seen as they start their process, and again as they end the process, where some of you will be affected by some of that water shedding and the other things that will come through. And as we discuss and learn more about what's coming, what's trying to be developed, and the accountability we're looking to hold the county to.
Thank you, Mike.
Excuse me. Hello everyone, I'm Dexter Prince. I'm a Winterset Lakes resident. I've been there 20 plus years. Was involved in the 2019 effort a little bit, and definitely have been more involved this time because, you know, just really concerned about the accountability from this builder and the lack of. And so it's just, this has been a great team to be a part of, and I'm glad to see everybody out tonight.
I'm Donna Samander. I live in Cameron Springs. I was a part of the 2019 effort, and I'm very much a part of this effort because it means a lot. I really don't want to see that beautiful area be neglected and our homes and environment be terribly affected.
And I'm Marian Krawanick. I live in Innsbrook West. I was involved in 2019, as many of you all were. I appreciate all of y'all's efforts now. And what we'd like to do, we're going to talk about while we're here in a minute, but real quick, one of the things is getting communication out. You don't have to give a speech, but say who you are and where you live.
Clark, so we're in Innsbrook West.
Thank you.
Latanya Overby from Eagles Landing.
Jan Berry, Cameron Springs.
Sonia Gibbs, Cameron Springs.
Bob Morris, Cameron Springs.
David Tate, Greycliff.
Nikki Tate, very good. And thanks for your message today.
Mark McClendon, Cameron Springs.
Helen and Carlos, Greycliff.
Keeley Towns, Greycliff.
Lockwald.
Mark Dalrymple, Cameron Springs.
Daniel Elton, Cameron Springs.
Steve Roney, Cameron Springs.
Leslie Reiser, Norris Lake. We're just worried about what comes down our way.
Absolutely.
Dee Jenkins, Trillium Forest.
We're the Hatchets. We live on in Livsey, right next to where they're doing it.
Robert Harvey, Canterbury.
I'm Bobby Howard, and I am just supporting this District 3 Commissioner. I'm concerned about what's going on in our county.
All right.
And so he has, I will say, he has shown up to everything we have done. That's not political.
Earl McPherson, Cameron Springs.
Earl?
Earl McPherson.
Aaron Peart, Cameron Springs.
Jean Perry, Cameron Springs.
Alicia Davis, Cameron Springs.
Excellent.
Over here.
Anybody, there you are.
Barbara Russ, Cameron Springs.
Dominique Marsh, Cameron Springs. Dorothy Revelo, Cameron Springs.
Mike Revelo, Cameron Springs.
David and Wendy Wise from Cameron Springs.
Well, as we see so many people from Cameron Springs, I laughed and I said, put your subdivision. If you're Cameron Springs, you don't have to. But what we would like to do right now, take just a few minutes. We want to ask you, why do you think you're here? What do you want to get out of this meeting? This isn't for a long speech right now. It's just bullets and tell me, and Donna and I are going to write. So what do you think this is all about? What are you thinking we're going to do? What's your expectation?
Stop Schroeder.
Stop Schroeder. Okay? What else?
Save our heritage.
Save the heritage. You've read the flyers. That's good. You know how sometimes you go to a meeting and you walk out and you go, "Oh, is that all about?" We don't want that to happen.
Action plan.
Action plan. Okay. Back there, somebody. I thought.
Well, just keep the traffic down.
Okay. Worrying about traffic.
Property value.
Property values. Okay, and again, thinking about why we're here as a group of Save Mink Livsey. Those are all we want to do. Yes.
And crime.
And crime. Okay.
Pooled resources, anything we can gather together that we're all just good at. Add to the pot.
Excellent. Pool our resources. Identify the magic sauce that somebody might have.
Watershed management, and we in Gwinnett County have a very bad watershed management program in the development side of our county.
Okay. You get watershed management issues. And that's just, please don't breathe the air. We've got a gas issue in here anyway. That's why our doors are open. But you're fine. We checked it. Anything else?
Yeah.
Construction of the Indian burial ground.
Okay.
Very much so.
And just to note, it's not only Native American burial mounds there. There's also an enslaved person cemetery, and right now I'm working with community groups to find out who might be buried there, and it's not protected.
All right. Oh, go ahead, Dee.
How we can help each other.
She's not a plant, but that's the one I was hoping for. How we can help each other. Anything else? Okay, that's a great start. I think we all agree we're going to try. This is an aim, and you've read the stuff, and it's good. When we get down, we think, those of us that were planning why we think we're here, it is sort of pool the resources, identify the things that we think are doable, like watershed management. You're going to hear in a few minutes an overview of what's happened so far. Donna's going to give you that. Dexter's going to tell you some of the things that we know, we've identified. We do need help, and we need experts. There's things we can do. Time is a flitting. What you know if you've read, the developer can build houses up there. It's been R100 since the 70s. As Donna has said in the things she sent out, no provision for us to talk. There is a provision for us to get our act together. So they're going to give you the foundation, and then we're going to come back together and talk about what we think we can do. You'll notice that we've got cards on the table. I've got pens. Some of them work, some of them don't. If you think of something that you think you can contribute, or an idea or a question, grab a card, write it down so you don't forget. We'll also be asking what you think you can do towards the end, and we'll get information from you on that too, after you see what's at stake. And come on. Questions? Thanks. Showtime.
So Marion put together some beautiful FAQs of whole board there, but I'm just going to run through the facts as we know it, so we can discuss those and also kind of talk through our action plan. In June 18th, Bill Schroeder's teams from GeoWorks and PEC started land disturbance back there in the area behind Cameron Springs and Gray Cliff. There was quite a bit of land disturbance, but the county determined that it wasn't enough land disturbance to require a permit. So in 2019, as you know, Schroeder had petitioned to change the zoning from R100 to OSC. The county denied the rezoning request, and as a result, Schroeder sued the county. So the county is a little hamstrung as to what they can do and what they can't do in terms of a potential second lawsuit.
Did he win the first one?
No, he didn't. He didn't.
Let me plug into what you're talking about. Okay, the county, Schroeder originally went and he applied for a rezoning. Okay, we got a group together, we went before the commission board, and we were successful at getting the commissioners to deny the request to rezone, because it is zoned R100, which means they can build residential properties. Well, back in the 70s, it was zoned R100, which meant that, and we didn't have sewer, which meant they had to do the property with a septic system. Yes. Well, now there's sewer there, so now they can tie the subdivision into sewer with Gwinnett County. Okay, now Schroeder then sued the county because of the development that he was denied. And there were some legal stuff and all that, and I was one of the witnesses that supported the county's position, and they were successful at the county was successful in the lawsuit. So that's why Schroeder has gone back now and put together a new drawing that shows 101 lots with a lot of green space on it. But don't be fooled, because he's going to expect the homeowners association to do the maintenance on the green space. And there is a drawing back here that shows how the subdivision is going to lay out. And there are multiple pieces of property that are involved in the subdivision.
So where is the subdivision?
It's right behind Cameron Springs and right next to Gray Cliff.
So right next to where?
And it's actually, it comes down Rock Falls as well. So it kind of encloses Cameron Springs with Rock Falls on one side and Gray Cliff on the other.
So how are they gonna exit? I don't know.
Through Cameron Springs.
And Livsey.
And a new street.
A new street,
Yep.
yeah.
For those that are not familiar, if you imagine this thing is 100 acres up on top, smack in the middle. Cameron Springs, the main one.
You don't know what Cameron Springs.
But all of these subdivisions, Gray Cliff, Cameron Springs, Rock Falls, Winterset, I've forgotten one of them, Grahamsport, Lockwell, and also Laurel Falls.
Trillium
We haven't
Forest.
mentioned, I think. It's all going to come down. It is all closed, as Donna has sent out in her thing, infill, landlocked stuff. So you all know where it is, right? Because that's a common question. Now you know where we're talking? Cameron Springs definitely
Cameron
knows.
Springs, so if you go in Cameron Springs, you just say there.
You can't see it no matter where you go right now. If you go in Cameron Springs, drive in Cameron Springs, it's like a U. You go to either end, you hit the forest. The people, when this happened, the people that lived right there, if they weren't right next to it, they needed their neighbors to tell them. And that's the problem with this, because you're not going to see it. Even the Cameron Springs neighbors, you all didn't know about it until everybody went door to door. Eagles Landing is the other one. My friend from Eagles Landing, sorry.
Well, just to tag on to that, I brought leadership from Gwinnett Historical Society, and we went to all of the different outlets and subdivisions, and she made that point that you wouldn't know that anyone's building back there, or that any land disturbance had happened back there. Another one of the challenges that we're working from is that the county commission is new. So a lot of them are not aware of what is back there and of the details of the 2019 effort. One thing with the county, aside from the lawsuit, is that their scope is limited to county permitting, so does not include federal and state. And why that's important is we found that Schroeder has not gotten any permitting from the EPA, has not notified EPD, and has no construction notices, no permits with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. And as Dan mentioned, this is the Ocmulgee watershed, so all of those federal agencies should be involved. The other agency that needs to be involved is the state fire marshal, and I haven't contacted them yet, but that would be for blasting. But currently, the county scope, they've notified us that permitting is with the other agencies, not with the county. The county is only related to the zoning.
Hey, excuse me, I was told too, through the grapevine, to be in the construction supply business, that Gwinnett County could not, they've stopped permitting on any new developments because the infrastructure couldn't handle it. Until they start building infrastructure.
Well, that's a great question, because when we asked about an impact study, we were told that there would not be an impact study because this was all R100 and there doesn't need to be one.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the big point. Because it is zoned R100, there's some specifications that go with R100 that are just rubber stamp. So it's a real difficult position, and we're gonna really be, it's gonna be tough to fight the R100 development. And he is also, correct me if I'm wrong, he's also the same developer that's building at Lee Road and
Yes.
Lenora Church. Okay? And those are single-family homes, and it's still zoned R100 because he tried to rezone it too.
And the Lee Road and Mink Livsey, the Crofton house.
So,
Okay, so as we know, it seems that the efforts from 2019 have pretty much kind of gone by the wayside. Our counterparts at Gwinnett are new, and so we have really had an uphill battle in trying to make them understand what our concerns are. We're getting there, but I think there are a few things that we can do to really get our message across and really try to fight this thing. One of the things that we must do, and this is why we've got our GoFundMe, and we're leaning on our neighbors to be a part of this. We've got to engage a civil engineering firm and or lawyer that can take on this type of work. We won't be able to really do anything by complaining and voicing our concerns. We've got to have an expert or a team of experts that will fight on our behalf. So we're imploring that you would be a part of that fundraising effort so that we can go in and really fight this thing. A part of that, all of that that we need to include would be the wetlands, the pipes and dumping, blasting, and also to assist us with opportunities for like a third-party survey. And then also some of the other things that we can do in addition to the fundraising is really getting in touch with our state representatives and the decision makers to get the word out. We need to get to the media, everything that we can do to really get the word out. So that's really the call to action. Our dollars, our mouthpiece, getting the word out, and definitely getting representatives to help us to fight this battle.
Have all those been identified?
Yes. Yeah, we've identified, and so we identified that, and then we're looking, for more suggestions. We've talked through some of the expectations. We've identified these things as a team, and we invite you at this time, if you'd like to add, to our list of things that we can do to really
Well, I think
fight.
one of the things on here was unifying our resources.
Right.
I've just heard two gentlemen in the back say they are contractors. Surely they have some type of connections or information that they could hopefully pass along as a resource. Maybe? I think that's a good suggestion, utilizing resources.
How much money do we need to raise for this effort? I know the last time we had to raise 10,000 and we were able to get it pretty quickly. And how far away are we? What do we need to do to get to the minimum we need to engage in a civil engineer or a lawyer?
So right now we have $1,098.48.
48 cents.
Yes, 48 cents. We have been talking, I've been talking with multiple lawyers. One lawyer took a look at the area and he said, "You can't build back there." That was his first reaction. Really, for us to engage a civil engineer, we've gotten rough estimates of about $10,000. We really need people who are intimately familiar with working with the federal and state agencies on permitting. And those permits, there may be a reason why Schroeder didn't get those permits. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he meant to get them. But if he's starting to build in 8 months, he should have gotten those permits, some of which cost up to $200,000. So he might be waiting to sell homes before he can purchase. I don't know. I'm guessing. But initially, we have a starting goal of $5,000, just so that we can build our war chest and be ready once we find, that expert or those team of experts to help us with this.
So what kind of time are we looking at to achieve that 5,000?
That's a great question. I think it'll be me really getting the word out. We got signs, so we want to put signs out and get folks who are sitting in the horrible traffic that we already know about on Mink Livsey, for them to see this, go to the site, sign up, and spread the word. We've already been working to find media contacts. If anyone has any media contacts, that would be gold, because we need to just bring awareness of what's happening, especially with all the recent flooding that's happened. Flooding, heritage sites, media contacts, contacting them every day. I have a whole list, so we have our email campaign packages if you'd like to help with that.
I think to answer the question, to tag on, I would say we need to get this money in 30 days or less to really have the impact and move forward and get this the momentum, to continue the momentum. We've got to get the money. So I'd say fairly quickly.
And I'm going to chime in, because when you remember the 10,000, the advice from the lawyers and others, and many of you will remember Rick Keenan, who was an engineer. He lived in Winterset, and he helped defray the cost on the engineering thing. His advice originally was get an environmental engineer. And he's right, because that's what all the lawyers have been saying. Those go 10 to 20,000. He has gotten us a contact that he trusts down here that they've said it would be about 10,000. So we're just trying to work from ground base zero. And Judy, you're absolutely right. We ought to utilize all the resources we have. And I will tell you that our construction guys have been hit upon. Our possible politicians have been hit upon. One of the things I'd like to leave you all with is, what can you do sitting right here? And this is a small group. What we've tried to do is create something to make it easy for you to share the news. And so if you have it, how many people in here have already signed up on the website? Just raise your hand. Excellent. If you haven't, or if you know somebody that hasn't, get them to sign up on the website. How many have signed the petition? And I'm sure we're preaching to the choir, so you've all signed. What we want you to do is call your kids that have moved out. Call anybody that's 18 and older that has a vested interest in this, because right now, as we've heard from several people, it's R100. He can do what he wants as long as he plays that way. We wouldn't have known anything in 2019 except he went for rezoning. And that helped us identify this other stuff. And you all are being very kind by saying we have new county commissioners and stuff, and that is true. In part, we have some that were there before, and everybody can read, and I will tell you they are well aware of this. I would say don't let up on them. Write them again. If you haven't emailed them, email them again. Just make their life miserable. And then at the website, just a little bit. At the website, we're talking to
I get up every day thinking I'm gonna make half the people mad and half the people mad.
and that's the case. And that's the case. But we're talking, and if you go to the website as we get the things that are cleared, talking to our state senator, our representatives, EPA, and we're working on getting, because the situation has changed a little bit, and we don't want to lie in what we're saying. And so, yeah, that's what I got.
Yes, so we have a full packet for you. 5 ways that you can help, easy to pass around to folks. Also, Marion put these little pocket, you can.
This is exactly what's here, but sometimes you've run out of these or they're not with you. We're asking you, put this in your pocket, put it in your purse. When you walk up to somebody, say, hey, how you doing? Do you care about traffic and water and other stuff? The traffic, believe it, we're going to still live with traffic. When the water comes in your basements, and some of you would experience this right now, they can't take that back. They can't come up with another plan for it. They can't put the burial mounds they've already run over. So have this in your pocket. This gives you, this person is a marvel in what she can crank out in between 12 and 4 a.m. And that's about the time she has to do it. We're trying to get the word out, but nothing works like you. And for what we need here is, we know the resources we've already got. We know we need more. We know we need to get the civil engineer. We know, although we're in touch with, people for media, ask your friends. Maybe one of you has a cousin that works for TV. But everybody, I'll pass these around. If you want to take extra, take them.
To Marion's point, the more that this is not hidden, like literally it's talked about. People are talking about it. They know about it. We have all the FAQs. You can become an expert on what's happened so far. That means a lot, because here's the other thing. Houses are not selling. And in order for them to start development, they need houses to sell. They're not selling. So to Dexter's point, we need to do this now, get people talking about it, make sure that they're compliant before they start land disturbance again. And it may be a different kind of conversation we're having with them.
I have one more question. So are we going to have to hire a civil engineer or environmental engineer and a lawyer? Are we going to need both? So we should set the goal at 10 minimum and keep going from there, not try to do 5. Because who's going to do it for 5? I didn't hear anybody who was going to help us for 5.
No, that was an initial number that I'm hoping we'll just surpass, and it
Yeah, we need to say 10. Don't say 5. Let's be real. Let's do 10.
And one heads up for the folks that do log in the website, find the petition. There's a spot there to donate. Please do be aware that donating to that spot is not donating to the Mink's Livsey cause. It's actually donating to the website to go to other causes. So be aware of that, especially as you share. Just a little detail some folks have overlooked. Like we're donating to the cause, but it was just to spreading the news about other causes.
So we don't donate to this website here, GoFundMe?
No, the GoFundMe, yes. No, the petition. There's a petition that has additional donation button to it, but the petition donates to other petitions.
It goes to makechange.org.
Makechange.com.
Yeah, it goes to change.org. So if you go to the website that Donna set up, and you can donate both those too, but donate to the one that she's saying.
GoFundMe.
GoFundMe. Where is it? It's the GoFundMe.
That probably needs to make
If you click on this,
Actually, this is the.
if you click on this, it's going to take you to the main website and ask you to sign, give your information so we can have two-way communication, because that's what's a little flaky. Then if you go to a thing over on the side, it says, how can you help? How can you help? It also has frequently asked questions, which you've already got. It's got events. It's got lots of cool stuff. It's got history. If you haven't read the history, read that. It's good and interesting, and you can see it better than here. But go to that link, or to the little thing, the bar that says, how to help. That will give you, and then you hit another little link, it'll take you straight to GoFundMe. You hit a link, it takes you straight to sign the petition. It'll keep all the things straight. And that's what you need to, I hate to say, when you meet your friends, if they're little old ladies like me, you have to walk us through it like Donna did with me. So take some time and say, you want to do it now. This gets you inside to the website, and then you can find other stuff. Oops.
So I think the roadmap is we need to raise money to get experts involved, but also as importantly is we have a letter writing campaign every week that'll be county and state officials raising awareness and getting the word out. I think just in 12 hours yesterday we got 35 more signatures to the petition. So every little bit helps, and we'll be measuring these weekly numbers to as our kind of leaderboard.
How many numbers are on the petition today?
Last time I checked, it was something like 635. It kept going. Yes, about 35 signatures in 12 hours.
But again, I'm going to jump in right now. That petition's been up for a long time. You guys have signed it. That's not our job anymore. Our job is, and you have to nag. I asked my kids to sign it. They said, yeah, Mom. One lives in San Francisco, one lives in New York. I asked my niece in Minnesota. Yeah. So I sent another note and said, hey, did you sign it yet? Until they say yes, it's a no. And we need the yeses, because that's the other thing, that when we go and try to petition somewhere else, numbers speak. Schroeder can do whatever he wants as long as he plays with the county rules. And my opinion is right now, the county is not really looking at some of the same things that we think are important. And they don't have to. That's a discussion for another day, but get people to sign up on the website so they stay just-in-time information too. Because that's been the other thing. You all have to wait till we send you an email. And then maybe the power goes out. You get the stuff up as quick as we legally can. What other ideas do you have?
Have we tried to reach the media?
Yes.
So what have we tried?
Basically every single news station, every online publication in this area, I've tried. But I need help. I need people. I have a list of all of them. If you're interested, I can share that list, and we just shoot them emails, call them, send them notes. It makes a difference when 30 people do it as opposed to one.
Okay.
And I think
Send me a list.
as a part of that, there should also be a social media aspect. I think we're a little lacking on that. So if somebody is, whiz with that or knows somebody that is very good with the social media aspect. I think that will help us get the word out as well.
And that's what this is for. I know, thank you for signing in so we have a two-way communication with you. This is a little different. I pass this around, and Dee, I'm going to let you sign up right away.
Yes.
I know how to get in touch with you so you don't have to waste your time. If I haven't gotten in touch with you, or Donna or Dexter directly, do recreate your information, because it might be we couldn't read our writing before. But this is, yeah, I care, and I volunteer to do this. I have a resource to do that. So just identify what it is. So for example, I'm going to hand this back to Dee, and she's going to say, I would like to work with the people that are working on the media. Because it all takes time, and I'm sorry, you don't have any more.
Do we have any direct plan on how we're gonna get the $10,000? Seem like something what we really need to get.
That's a great question. What do you all think? Any ideas?
I got one.
Okay.
Well, lock the doors.
Art has an idea. Again, we're preaching to the choir, and some of you.
Back when this first started, we made a little tour to look at the Indian mounds that have been destroyed. Where are we with that? Is anybody? I know that the police didn't do anything, the county didn't do anything. Did any of the Indian?
I have contacted every Native American tribe organization. A lot of the folks are really trying to keep the Okefenokee from getting drilled and mined, and but they don't have a lot of resources, and they are hearing from people about other developers who don't respect people's burial sites. One avenue here that we have is that there hasn't been there hasn't been an archaeological survey on file since 1995, when that Doolittle sewer interceptor was put in. So it's about time. And if we have the right resources, civil engineering, they might know of avenues to bring in a third party survey, because we do have a verbal agreement with one group to do it for free, possibly, if we can get the permission to do it.
And who do you have to get the permission to do it?
Schroeder. Bill Schroeder.
Who says we haven't. I'm going to enter, not to cloud this stuff too, but something, again, where I hold something suspect. We have asked, we know there was no survey. We didn't see any permits for the sewage stuff that went in. That has suddenly appeared. There's a survey that's been submitted, 2020, to the lawyer that represented Schroeder. It's all part of the thing. In reading that, and we're not putting that all on the website and everything now, but there's some questions there, and that's when we all said, we need an expert to help us navigate some of this stuff quickly. And another big thing is, we need numbers. We do need the letters. They can ignore it when it's just 15 or 20 of us that keep nagging them, and a few letters. But if we're unrelenting and we keep going, they will notice. And I want to come back to your lovely question. How do we get the money? How do we get the notice that we need? How do you all think we can do that?
Open your pocketbook.
I agree, open your pocketbook. Everybody, I hope you give. I will tell you, there are a few people in here that have opened their pocketbook several times. How else can we do it?
Are these signs allowed to be placed on Mink, Livsey at the beginning of the subdivisions?
Right now, signs like that can be placed on subdivision entrance with the subdivision's permission. They can be placed in your yard, and I'm getting ready to contact Lightbusters for Gwinnett to say, when you see these signs, for the time being, please do not take them down. In Gwinnett County, you can't put them on the right-of-way, and they will be cleaned up and picked up. We're asking, please ignore these for a while. But again, the signs, somebody contributed the signs. How can we do it?
Have a huge fundraiser.
We can have a fundraiser, and that's been suggested, and that takes.
HOA's getting involved with
Everybody got stuff in their basement to sell.
What, and again, that takes organization, and if you want to volunteer to do that, I'll take you in a heartbeat. I can't get one in our neighborhood, because I don't want to do one. But a way we can do this is if every one of you reaches out to at least 5 people by Friday, and ask all those 5 people to reach out to 5 more. And ask those people to reach out to 5 more. When you look at how many people we have on Mink Livsey that are affected by this, and many of them still do not know about it. You guys know because you're here. You guys know where it is, for the most part, because you're here. But I promise you, a lot of people are still saying, where is it?
How far, when is this going to be developed? What's the plan for the development of the?
So right now he's in the initial permitting, so he's requested, based on that, the drawing, the 101 homes, it's in the initial process for permitting, so he's just initiating. I don't know how long it's going to take.
So again, that means it's in planning and development. Planning and development is looking at all of these issues.
Okay.
And what I will tell you is, don't think just because we wrote them before that counts. Because right now, they're up against having to look at it and justify, and we need to remind them, the Indian mounds and the cemeteries are one thing. The water impact is significant.
Have we requested to have a meeting with the planning and development?
We've had a meeting with the planning and development. We had a meeting with our commissioner. And we welcome you to write and say we want another one. The answer from the commissioner is basically, and it was before, but even during meeting, get your lawyer to talk to my lawyer. And if I was told once, I was told at least 6 times, we're not going back to 2019. And all those of us in the room were saying, we're not trying to go back to 2019. And that's the thing that we all need to understand clearly. We're not going back to rezoning. We're not going back to that argument. We're going back to things were uncovered in our discussion back in 2019, which was basically, who asked, how are you going to get them in and out? That's where that conversation started. No answers came to that. And in that exploration with 2019, all the people that worked on it, it came up, gosh, we're on a watershed. We're on wetlands. We're in a floodplain.
And I think to that point, having that expert civil engineering help will help with both the historical and the environmental,
and the permitting.
The permitting, because the other thing is, if there has been sewer enhancements, and that usually requires federal money, so that's when the Department of Cultural Affairs comes in and says, okay, you're going to have to do the third-party survey. So that's where, if we have that expert help, we can do.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like our priority needs to be to get money.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
and to get money, we've got to talk to people so they care as much as you care right now. Art.
Yeah, so the reason I brought up the Indian mounds is because back when we first started looking at that, I Googled and I found an Indian organization that would pay $10,000 for leads of people destroying burial mounds.
Where's that green sheet? No, this is what we need. If you can find that.
Yeah, I've been trying to get in.
Yeah, we've been, because you've been working with us all along. You should have stood up when we were talking. But you're shy. But here, because it's hard to just write down and then say, I've got the lead and try to find it.
I don't have it. I have to go look for it.
Okay, we appreciate
that's the thing that's going to get him on the run, is to go after this felony that they've committed, multiple felonies, of destroying Indian mounds. If you get him tied up in that, he's not going to be able to do the rest. And if we get the $10,000 from somebody, we're in a good shape.
Well,
we only need another $9,000 to get our lawyer and our engineer.
He's not compliant now, so that's another way to tie him up. So
but this is another thing that's going to tie him up.
And that's
Because
what-
if he goes after these guys that obviously know what they're doing and willing to pay for leads,
If you can stretch
It's a
your brain,
double-
and anybody
double
else in the room that can stretch their brain to find that connection, because again, that's why we need you guys. And you all have good brains and good hearts and you're passionate, but we don't have all the answers. We are convinced with your help, we can get closer to getting some of the answers. And we do not have time to waste. We want to tie them up now.
Well, if anybody really just cares for the environment, I know that normally gets tossed in there somewhere, but we are talking about a very large disturbance of a very heavily populated place with deer and other animals.
Yes.
Once they're disturbed, where they displace to, since it's an infill subdivision, it's your yards, it's the community, it's more accidents waiting to happen. So if you have a family member or someone that really enjoys the wildlife aspect and wants to speak to that, it's just another reason to want to just, get involved. If someone wants to speak to the destruction of 100+ acres of woods and animals' homes, of real animals, if you're that kind of person, you're fit for the team.
Have we thought about setting up committees? Not a ton of committees, but setting up so that some people in here that are not as familiar with all the information could say, okay, here, if you think you're good at media, here's, you sit at this table. Another table for finding the burial, finding the information on that, the research, and somebody heading that up. So doing a couple committees so that, talking's great about it, but we got to get momentum. We got to get moving to what are some committees that can be set up.
A funding committee.
That I can join, a funding committee.
Well, if anybody would like to take over GoFundMe, I know the person that would like to give it up.
But it's not just the GoFundMe.
But I know
You
it's
set it up, but it's.
Good point, because Judy, and that's what, this is to get down to the specifics on what you can say you can do, because it is, once we can committee it to death too, but we got to get somebody that will help where the rubber meets the road.
Well, I think if we determine maybe 4 subsets or 4 committees, and all the people in here sign up for one.
I can tell you right off, I think that's a wonderful idea, but one of them is just the sheer amount of research. There's been a lot of research. Helping with that, just pooling the information together so that we can create content for social media, for emails, for talking to the media. That would be a huge help.
And is there anyone right now that's happy to do that? It takes time and reading.
And I just wanted to let everyone know that I spoke to Stroder myself, and he says that he will start developing and within 8 months. He says he will have everything will be ready to go in 8 months. So if you guys want to know how much time we're really dealing with, it's
So how do we stop it?
We need money.
Besides money though, there's got to be,
We create as much visibility on these problems, because right now we're the only ones who know it. Thanks
for that.
All of these are HOAs, I assume? I'm not in one.
They're not all HOAs.
So how did you put something in the mailboxes of all of the people in that area so that they know?
That's a good idea. Yes.
I have a question. So once we secure an attorney, so what exactly will he start the fighting? What will happen? Because we're trying to, pull resources, come up with ideas, ways to fight. If we obtain an attorney, will it just be in his hands at that point? Because he's legal expert. Will he take it, run with it, and just tell us or determine what needs to happen if we have a chance? Because we're just kind of like throwing things out right now. But if we get an attorney, will he take it on then?
So that's
like fight for us. Will he start fighting for us? He knows what to do. Is that why we're securing an attorney?
So attorney / civil engineer. So we don't have, like in 2019, we're not a part of, there's no opposition process. So speaking in front of the county commission wouldn't be the main way. We would still probably have to help do research like we did in 2019 to feed the briefs that the attorney put together. But where the attorneys or / civil engineering firm comes in is with the permitting, working with federal and state agencies to make sure that these permits are in place, and also to find loopholes where we can have that third-party survey. Because the thing is now is those homes are not selling, and they're actually going down. They're
Talking Lee Road, Mink, Livsey.
And other places in Snellville that Schroeder has developed, they're not selling. I'm on the alerts and I see the prices going down, and they're like waving signs at the area on Lee Road and Mink, Livsey to get people to come in. If they, in the SNF, if they're waiting for money to even start development, for them to have to pay these really expensive permitting that they should have done already is going to make development push.
So to your point, we're looking for the experts to really help us identify those loopholes and also the gaps. The county has already said there's a gap between, the environmental piece, the watershed, some of the things that we really care about, and what they can hold them to in terms of the permitting process. So identifying those gaps and then really sticking it to them and slowing the process and like you said, the fees, so that it makes it, even more difficult for the buyer or the builder to build.
And from what we understand, there were some things that because of where he's building, and again, I can help out here, he needed to get some permits before, that if he got them, we haven't heard about, they haven't been able to find them yet. So that means he will have a penalty plus that. But that's where we need, and again, we were going the lawyer route, but we were told civil engineer, strong environmental, strong archaeological foundation in his firm so that they can look at it and get the wheat from the chaff for what we can go forward and stick it to him. If anybody's ever used a lawyer before, you know that you're paying by the hour. So that's where Donna's saying, and what you're saying is, do we have somebody that has an interest that could be on the committee to plow through? Because right now, there are just a few people, and I'm not one of them. I say, please send me the digest. But a few people that are doing the research, that's a need. Your question, Valerie, that I didn't forget when you said, how did people know I'm not in an HOA? We're going back to old list, and what we would like, we used to have a long time ago, and every time we have a problem like this, they go, oh, get the word out. And some of us say, we know that person moved, or that person's dead. So that's the help you all can give. It's a very specific ask that we have of you, and you have for yourselves. Half of you live in Cameron Springs, but I bet you know somebody that lives in, Innsbrook. If you know somebody in another subdivision, get their name, get their email, get their cell phone number if they'll give it where they live, and ask if they'd be willing to send it out to all their neighbors. We've been doing it with emails to a point of contact with the HOA. Sometimes it's very effective. Sometimes that person gets it and it doesn't go anywhere else. Sometimes it just goes to the easy people for them to get. We need it to go to everybody. We need to hit the people that don't live in HOAs. We have some, but make sure I get your name and we'll link you up, okay? But if you can all commit, along with the 5 to 10 people, see how I jacked it up, signing in? If you can get 5 people in another subdivision and ask them who is their point of contact to send stuff around. Sometimes it's the property manager. Sometimes the property manager says yes. They don't forward the stuff. So we need to have a double check on that. You're the only ones that can help us. We only know who we know. You know lots more. Is that clear? Can you guys do that? And if you send it to contact us, if you go in here, if you're on here already, you can send a message. You will also get information sometimes from centervilleconnections@gmail. Those, we're all friends, okay? We're not selling your email or your information, we're just trying to get things out. It's like we send out messages when you have a coyote running around or something, okay?
So when we leave here tonight, what are the two top priorities? Getting 5, 10 people or pushing for money?
Getting 5 or 10 people and then asking them if each one of them would give us at least $5 or $10.
25.
I'd like 25, but if, look at them and how well you know them. I'm gonna ask you for 100, I know you. I know you'll give 100, and when I ask again, you'll give 100 again. But again, you can't just be the same people, time-wise or money-wise, because right now, that's the same people do.
And I'm just gonna say, and again, this is conjecture, but if Schroeder is walking around Cameron Springs doing the work that he should have hired someone to do, he's also thinking about money. And,
that's true.
And if he doesn't have the money to build, if he doesn't have the money for those expensive permits, development is not, might not happen. Yeah.
Schroeder, is that the name of the building company, or that's just?
Schroeder Holdings.
Huh?
Schroeder Holdings.
Schroeder Holdings is LLC.
And y'all have spoke with Schroeder before? And he's just, he don't care. Go for it.
He's very pleasant spoken, but he said when I asked him about the Native American sites, that was the first time he got mad. He said, "There's any Native American sites back there." Even after,
He said there were chimneys, and we were mistaken. And God knows we might be, but we just are asking somebody, including our elected officials, to go and get somebody to check, and that's where we've got a glitch.
Well, I think that's a committee right there.
Okay, and if you want, I'm going to go for getting more people. That's my but go. That's a.
And do you have sample letters or
yes
somewhere?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You have sample letters on the website. What you'll find for your senators and for Livsey-meeeting, they have a form you have to fill out. I'm sure you can write them a letter, but the way it does when you go to the website, and we have those connections down there, but you fill in and it depends on where you want to go. We're working on getting that pulled together too. We were busy just trying to make sure Schroeder stopped what he was doing. But that's a committee we need. We need a committee that will draft up, some of you English majors, we need a committee that will draft up so it's not the few of us between 12 and 4 a.m. and it's written well and we won't go to jail for what we say. On the back of this card are all the other websites. You might have to type them in because they're linked, but I don't know whether. And Donna has sent those out, and you've gotten them in every email.
Yes.
And on social media, you'll have it on Nextdoor, Neighborhood Next Door, and you'll also have it, it's still under Stop Mink Livsey Development.
I have a question. For neighborhoods that doesn't have an HOA, can we get flyers and post on their mailbox and those subdivisions? So that way the word is being heard.
And we'll give you plenty of flyers for here. You can kind of put them on the mail. I have to go 2 ways with this. One of the best things is if you can knock on the door and say hi if you have questions. Get their contact information. Some neighborhoods let you do that. It is a federal law. You're not supposed to be sticking stuff in people's mailboxes.
In the mailbox, outside.
You can, and again, some neighbors say don't tape it on my mailbox, so deal with it, but we've got the flyers. Donna brought them. Did you get some of these? Make sure we have your name, and again, we've run off some of these. When we send stuff to the contacts, we give you a way so that you could run them off if you can. We know that's a little bit of money, but that's how we've tried to save money. But we have these, and if you give us your name, I'll make sure you get some more. And then Donna's going to show you how to do. And then we're done, so you all can get home in time for the debate or whatever else you want to do.
And again, it's best in front of the subdivisions.
And if you have a subdivision, even if you don't talk to your HOA president, make sure you tell your HOA president you would like to post this, because that's part of the stuff that they can't take it down, but when it's done, people can take it down. You want your HOA to be wanting to do this. And if they don't, tell them to call somebody.
So we've got those here for those that want to take, one for the entrance subdivision.
How many flyers do you need? If you had to print right now and tell me how many you needed, how many would that be?
Maybe 300? 1,000. 1,000. We're doing them at 500 and 600 at a time.
If you'll send me the digital file to my email, I'll get you 1,000.
Oh, thank you. And remember that. And remember that. Yeah, and we're gonna get him. Pass that green sheet back. He gets credit for helping me out. And don't leave tonight. If you want to take more of these, then you can just hand them to your nearest friends. Because you're only one person. You know, you can't go out and talk to a million people. But I bet there's somebody that walks your neighborhood that you can just say, would you do this for me? It is the person-to-person contact. You look at what happened with Cameron Springs, and how many of you, when they came to your door, said, I didn't know about that.
Looking at it, this is the same.
I bet there were a lot of you. And did you pass that back to, oh, you're going to sign it too, don't forget. But the other thing that was really cool is, if you saw the picture, somebody sent me a picture of when you guys were going around. It looked like a party, you know? Thank you, my friend. So are you doing it for our neighborhood? Thank you.
We need two, one both entrances.
Flyers, wallet cards. We got Boku wallet cards. And so I'll tell you what. Take as many as you think you will use, and if you don't use them, pass them to somebody that will. There are more up here. Take some, pass them around just like in school. Somebody asked what this is. This is a compilation of what is on the website. It is so that you really have to test your eyesight. But it's just a front and back frequently asked questions so that it helps you. You'll have this on paper. I would encourage, there's some things here that are not on the website yet, but it's basically all of that stuff. And so if you don't want to read it on this, did you all get one? Yeah, I need to. And we'll print off some more. These are so poorly designed. I made them too small. Do you want one? You want to take one for Jamie? What I will also tell you is this was sent, I don't think I have it on that list, but this was sent to the HOA contacts. We send it as a picture in case they don't like opening up attachments, and this comes from Centerville Connections. It also comes as a PDF so that you can run off as many as you want. And if you have any problems with that, you can send a message to Centerville Connections or contact us. Where's Donna? Send it to contact us, and Donna will get it to whoever needs to answer your question. That's why if you haven't filled out that thing in the beginning, you went to the website, but you didn't do two-way communication, do that so that it's easy to get your name and your email address so that we know that. Yeah. And in your notes, you can say what you want to do. We really would like also, I know the main thing, because we needed your email and your name, because that's how we can get you. The other thing we end up using for just-in-time messages, if you'll share your cell phone, then I can remind you about stuff like this, and also your subdivision, because we do not have somebody from every subdivision. When you hear me say Grahamsport, it's because Dan and I have been looking for Grahamsport. Their person is dead. So we need a new one.
Well, we're right in time. Did everybody get a chance to sign in? I hope so. Thank you for your time. We appreciate you coming.
You live on that side. We on the offshoot.
I'm on Rockwall. The neighborhood from your street, you run down, and you go down, you'll see,
I know you said brick house. Yeah. I don't think it's far you loud with that. I just finished working for my base.
Right?